What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we are going to talk about the CIR. What is it? Why was it created? And how it affects us in the IBEW. For you old heads, you guys know what the CIR is already. For you young cats, I'm reading directly off of the webpage on the About tab, just to give you a history of the CIR. Before I dive in, though, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, ring the notification bell, drop some comments, and share these videos, yo. All right, let's get on into it. About the CIR. The Council on Industrial Relations is one of labor arbitration history's success stories. Founded in 1920, the CIR is co-sponsored by the International Brotherhood of Electrical Workers, i.e. you guys, and the National Electrical Contractors Association, i.e. the bosses, as a means to settle peacefully labor disputes within the electrical industry. The process has worked well, with over 8,000 decisions issued since the inception, making the CIR process a shining example of successful labor management relations. Under this system, with a CIR clause in the collective bargaining agreement, all disputes between labor and management which have come to impasse must be brought to CIR for adjudication. The decision issued by CIR is legal and binding upon both parties, thus replacing the need for costly strikes. The CIR panel is made up of 12 members, 6 representatives from the IBEW and 6 representatives from NECA, chosen for their ability to render fair and equitable decisions based upon the facts. The council is unique in that panel members are from within the industry and are made up of representatives from both labor and management. Because of this, panel members fully understand the impact that their decisions will have upon the industry as well as to the parties involved. All decisions rendered by the CIR are unanimous, as all panel members must agree before a decision becomes official. That lets you know that when something goes to CIR, there's no guarantee, it's not likely that either side is going to get everything that they want, especially being that all 12 panel members have to agree. That means owners have to be on board along with the IBEW representatives that represent the workers. That's a tough sell when you think about it. When the members, When the members of the council are in session, they do not represent either NECA or IBEW, but instead must remain objective and represent the electrical contracting industry. That's another interesting note. But how do you divorce yourself? So when you're in session, you're supposed to take off your IBEW hat, take off your NECA hat, leave it at the door, come in and say, what's good for our industry? I don't know. That sounds like a tough sell. But, I'm glad they're able to do it, because this is our means for when we don't agree with the contract that's negotiated by our negotiating team. This is the means to get that done. When you say, no, we couldn't get a negotiation that we can agree with, so let's go to CIR. The CIR meets 4 times a year to hear grievances, interpret existing agreements, and to arbitrate contract negotiations. In each case, the parties must have tried to settle their differences at home, but have come to impasse. The Council on Industrial Relations had its beginning in the era immediately following World War I, when labor strife was rampant. Remember I told you, back in the 1900s, man, it was tough sledding to get labor rights. It was tough sledding. It took a lot of fighting in the streets. If you didn't know that, it was very tough sledding. In 1916, a small group of electrical contractors called the Conference Club met regularly. Although they were in part a social club, members carried on serious discussions and presented various papers on matters of concern to the rapidly expanding electrical industry. It was during these meetings that a contractor named L.K. Comstock proposed that a committee be formed with the IBEW for the purpose of drafting a national labor agreement. A joint committee of IBEW representatives led by International Secretary Charles Ford and contractors led by Comstock met in March 1919. They agreed that a medium was needed for frank discussions, and so they issued a joint declaration of principles. The declaration was accepted by the National Association of Electrical Contractors and Dealers. The name later was changed to the National Electrical Contractors Association at their July 1919 convention. The IBEW approved the Declaration of Principles later that same year in September at the IBEW New Orleans convention. A committee comprised of 5 members of the IBEW and 5 from the contractors were appointed to work out a plan for putting these principles into action. The committee adopted a resolution to set up the Council on Industrial Relations, January 26, 1920. For their cooperation and hard work, L.K. Comstock, sometimes called the Dean of the Electrical Contracting Industry, and Charles P. Ford, International Secretary of the IBEW, are given credit for creating the CIR. Mr. Comstock said, "There were those who said the proposal had no merit. The council taught us how to create and maintain friendly relations, labor and management, and to eliminate the strike. This elimination has been productive of savings of many millions of dollars, which have accrued to employer, employee, and the public. It has set a new and original pattern of labor relations and has proved its efficacy and usefulness to all parties concerned. While only 45 cases were heard in the first 25 years, as the credibility and influence of the CIR continued to grow, 1,849 decisions were issued during the next 25 years, until now, when an average of 130 decisions are issued each year by the panel. However, the number of decisions issued by CIR is only part of the important role this panel plays in creating stability within the electrical industry. Only a portion of labor disputes reach CIR, as there is pressure on both parties to settle their disputes at home before they come to council. Many thousands of cases have been settled amicably by the employers and the local unions bargaining in good faith, knowing that as a last resort, this Supreme Court of the electrical contracting industry is open to them. In addition, CIR decisions rendered through the years have set a pattern for local contractors and unions to follow in solving their differences, making many appeals to the council unnecessary. The CIR recognizes the fundamental rights of the employer and the employee and their mutual obligation to each other, the industry, and the general public. The panel follows the precepts that matters such as wages, union recognition, peaceful solution of industrial disputes, sacredness of negotiated contracts, worker cooperation with management, and the obligation of both parties to strive for efficiency and production are vital to the industry. Obviously, while the panel tries to be fair and just, decisions sometimes do not please one or both of the disputing parties. The record shows, however, that while complaints have been few, they are almost exactly divided between management and labor, which indicates that a fair, objective job is being done. The story of the Council on Industrial Relations is a story of service to the electrical industry. Today, the CIR continues to prove that employers and employees can work together in harmony and peace for the greater good of all. So there you have it. That is what the CIR is all about. That gives you a bit of their history and of their function. And just know that you have a Supreme Court of the electrical industry in case negotiations don't go to your satisfaction and you feel you're getting the short end of the stick. There is an avenue to get justice. The only thing is that justice is binding on both parties. But hey, better that than to just, okay, I'll take what you offer me, thank you so much, okay. Shoot your shot, see what we got. You know what I'm saying? Anywho, that's my view on the whole thing. But there you have it, CIR. Remember, the fight is not left and right, it's up and down. It's gonna take solidarity to win always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. Peace.